What happens when one of the most influential pop stars in the world sits across from a host known for sharp opinions, and neither of them blinks first? Make sure to subscribe to Talk Show Prime, and like and comment for more talk show coverage. Whoopi leans slightly toward the table as the applause fades, her voice warm but controlled. All right, we're back. Our next guest needs no introduction. Singer, songwriter, cultural force, Taylor Swift is here. The audience cheers loudly, some standing, some clapping over each other. Taylor smiles, gives a small wave, clearly practiced but not robotic, and settles into her chair. Whoopi nods. Taylor, thanks for being here. Taylor, thank you for having me. It's nice to be here. Joy Behar leans back in her chair, arms loosely crossed, watching Taylor with a half smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Sunny glances at Joy briefly, then back to Taylor. Alyssa adjusts her notes. Whoopi starts easy. You're wrapping up another massive year. New music, re-recordings, sold-out shows. At this point, do you even get surprised anymore? Taylor laughs softly. Honestly, yes. I think if I ever stop being surprised, it's probably time to take a step back. I try not to take any of it for granted. Audience murmurs approvingly. Joy tilts her head. But Taylor, some people would say it's hard to believe that, given how everywhere you are. A few scattered chuckles ripple through the crowd. Taylor turns toward Joy, still smiling, but listening closely. What do you mean? Joy shrugs. I mean, charts, headlines, relationships, politics. It's a lot. Some folks feel like they can't escape you. The audience reacts with a mix of laughter and audible oohs. Whoopi raises her eyebrows slightly but doesn't interrupt yet. Taylor nods slowly. I get that visibility can feel overwhelming. But I don't control what people choose to cover or click on. I control my work. Sunny jumps in gently. And to be fair, Joy, a lot of that attention is driven by fans. Joy waves a hand. Sure, fans. But there's also a very curated machine behind it. Taylor's smile tightens just a bit. There's a team, yes, like any major artist. But the music, the writing, that's me. Whoopi leans forward. Let's stay there for a second. Taylor, people connect deeply to your lyrics. Why do you think that is? Taylor relaxes slightly, grateful for the redirect. I think specificity creates universality. When you tell the truth about one experience, people see themselves in it. Audience applauds lightly. Joy cuts in, not loudly, but firmly. Or they project themselves onto it. Taylor turns back to Joy. That's part of art, though. Once it's out there, it belongs to the listener. Joy raises an eyebrow. But do you ever feel responsible for how intensely people react? The devotion, the backlash, the way your words can move markets or sway opinions. A hush settles over the audience. Whoopi glances at Sunny, sensing the shift. Taylor takes a breath. I feel responsible to be honest and thoughtful. But I don't think it's fair, or realistic, to expect any artist to control how millions of people interpret their work. Alyssa nods. That seems reasonable. Joy leans forward now, elbows on the table. But you've weighed in on social issues, politics. You've encouraged people to vote. That's influence. Taylor doesn't flinch. Encouraging civic participation isn't telling people how to think. It's telling them their voice matters. Audience applause grows louder, a few cheers. Joy smiles thinly. Some would argue it's more than that. Whoopi raises a hand. All right, hold on. Let's let Taylor finish her thought. Taylor looks appreciative. Thank you. I grew up believing that staying silent was safer. I don't believe that anymore. If that makes people uncomfortable, I can live with that. The audience reacts again, louder this time. Joy exhales through her nose. See, that's interesting. Because discomfort cuts both ways. Taylor nods. It does. There's a brief pause. The kind that feels longer on live TV. Sunny jumps in. Taylor, how do you handle criticism, especially from media figures? Taylor smiles politely. I try to listen when it's constructive. When it's not, I remind myself that I don't need to attend every argument I'm invited to. A ripple of laughter moves through the crowd. Joy chuckles too, but it's clipped. Joy, yet you're here. Taylor meets her gaze. Because conversation matters. The audience reacts with a louder ooh. Whoopi leans back, sensing sparks. Whoopi, okay. This is getting interesting. Joy turns fully toward Taylor now. I'm not questioning your talent. I'm questioning the pedestal. Fame this big can distort things. Taylor's voice remains calm, but firmer. Pedestals are built by audiences and media. Artists just show up and do the work. Joy tilts her head. That sounds a little convenient. Taylor doesn't smile this time. It's honest. The tension is palpable. Alyssa shifts in her seat. Sunny watches closely. Whoopi steps in. Let's take a breath. Joy, are you saying Taylor shouldn't speak up? Joy pauses. I'm saying when you have that much power, you should be ready for pushback. Taylor nods once. I am. The audience applauds again, louder, sustained. Whoopi smiles tightly. All right. We're just getting started. When we come back, more with Taylor Swift. The camera pulls back slightly as the applause continues, Joy and Taylor still holding eye contact, not hostile, but unmistakably cold, as the tension hangs in the air heading into the break. The applause tapers off as the show comes back from break, and there's a subtle shift in the air. The smiles are still there, but they are tighter now. Whoopi glances down at her cards, then back up at the table. Whoopi. All right, we're back with Taylor Swift. We were talking about influence, responsibility, and pushback. Taylor nods, hands folded neatly in front of her. Yeah. Joy doesn't wait long this time. Taylor, I want to be clear, because I don't like dancing around things. You say you're ready for pushback, but sometimes it feels like criticism of you is treated as some kind of moral failure. A low murmur spreads through the audience. Taylor blinks once, then looks at Joy. Criticism isn't a moral failure. Harassment is. Joy smiles slightly. And who decides the difference? Sunny jumps in quickly. I think there's a pretty clear line. Joy turns towards Sunny. Is they? Because I've seen very mild critiques turn into pilo-ns. Taylor shifts in her chair. I don't encourage pilo-ns. Ever. Joy raises a finger. But your fans. Taylor interrupts, still polite but firmer than before. Our individuals. I don't direct them. The audience reacts audibly. Whoopi lifts a hand. Whoopi, let's slow it down. Joy, finish your point. Joy nods. My point is this, when someone like me, or any commentator, questions your choices, there's often a backlash that feels disproportionate. Taylor takes a moment before responding. I can't control how people react emotionally. I can only control my actions. And I've never asked anyone to attack someone on my behalf. Joy tilts her head. But silence can also be a message. Taylor meets her gaze. Sometimes silence is restraint. There's a beat. The audience is quiet now, listening. Alyssa clears her throat. Taylor, do you feel pressure to respond to everything that's said about you? Taylor exhales. Early in my career, yes. I felt like if I didn't explain myself, someone else would do it for me. Over time, I learned that not every narrative deserves oxygen. Joy chuckles softly. That must be nice. Taylor looks at her. It's necessary. The tension sharpens. Whoopi shifts forward. Whoopi, Joy, you sound skeptical. Joy shrugs. I am. Fame at this level comes with insulation. It's easier to ignore criticism when you're surrounded by praise. The audience murmurs again, some nodding, some shaking their heads. Taylor's voice stays steady. Praise doesn't cancel out criticism. It amplifies it. Everything is louder. Sunny nods. That's true. Joy presses on. But you benefit from the loudness. Taylor, I also pay a price for it. Joy looks unconvinced. Do you? Taylor doesn't hesitate. Yes. There's a pause. A real one. Taylor continues, her tone calm but personal. I've had my intentions questioned, my character dissected, my safety compromised. That's not theoretical for me. A few audience members clap softly, then louder. Joy leans back slightly, studying her. I'm not minimizing that. I'm asking whether the power imbalance ever concerns you. Taylor nods. All the time. That's why I'm careful. Joy, careful or strategic. A sharp intake of breath ripples through the audience. Whoopi raises her eyebrows. Taylor looks directly at Joy. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Joy smiles, but it's tight. That's a very polished answer. Taylor smiles back, but hers fades quickly. It's an honest one. Sunny interjects. Joy, do you think women are allowed to be strategic without being labeled manipulative? The audience reacts with applause. Joy sighs. I think anyone with massive influence should expect scrutiny. Taylor nods again. I do. What I push back against is the idea that speaking thoughtfully is somehow deceptive. Alyssa adds, There's also a gendered aspect to how ambition is perceived. Joy waves a hand. Oh, absolutely. I'm not denying that. Taylor looks at Joy. Then we might agree more than it seems. Joy pauses, then laughs lightly. Maybe. Or maybe we're talking past each other. Whoopi smiles. That happens on this table. The audience laughs. Whoopi turns to Taylor. Let me ask you this. Do moments like this, live, unscripted, make you uncomfortable? Taylor considers it. They used to. Now I see them as opportunities to actually talk, not just perform. Joy raises an eyebrow. And you don't think you're performing now? Taylor answers without missing a beat. No. The audience reacts loudly. Some applause, some gasps. Joy laughs, a short, surprised sound. Okay. There's a brief silence, then Joy leans forward again. Then let me ask you something very directly. Do you think your critics are acting in bad faith? Taylor shakes her head. Not all of them. Some raise valid points. Some don't. Joy, and me. Taylor meets her eyes. I think you're challenging me. I don't think you're attacking me. The audience lets out a collective breath. Whoopi smiles, impressed. Joy studies Taylor for a long moment, then nods slowly. Fair enough. Sunny smiles. That's progress. Whoopi chuckles. See, we can disagree without flipping the table. The audience laughs and applauds. But the tension doesn't fully dissolve. Joy turns back to Taylor one more time. Joy, you know, part of my job is to question narratives. Even popular ones. Taylor nods. And part of my job is to stand by my choices. Joy smiles faintly. Looks like we're both doing our jobs. Taylor smiles back. Looks like it. The audience applauds again, louder and longer this time. Whoopi glances at the camera. All right, when we come back, we're talking about Taylor's music and what's next, but knowing this table, who knows where we'll end up. The applause swells as the camera pulls back, Joy and Taylor no longer icy, but still clearly circling each other, respectful, guarded, and very aware that the conversation is far from over. The show returns from break with a shorter burst of applause, the kind that feels attentive rather than celebratory. Everyone at the table settles in a little more deliberately this time. Whoopi looks straight into the camera. Whoopi, we're back. Still here with Taylor Swift. Taylor smiles politely. Joy gives a quick nod, her posture upright, alert. Whoopi turns to Taylor. We said we'd talk about the music, so let's go there. You're re-recording your earlier albums. Some people see it as empowerment. Others say it's revenge. A ripple of reaction moves through the audience. Taylor exhales lightly, like she's answered this before. It's neither. It's ownership. Joy leans in immediately. But ownership framed as a public spectacle. Taylor turns toward her. It became public because the situation was public. Joy, and because it was profitable. A few audience members gasp. Whoopi lifts her hand again. Whoopi, Joy. Joy holds up a finger. I'm not accusing. I'm asking. Taylor nods once. Yes, it's profitable. That doesn't invalidate the principle. Sunny nods. Two things can be true. Joy smiles. That seems to be the theme. Taylor's voice stays calm. I didn't create the system where artists don't own their work. I just responded to it. Joy tilts her head. By turning it into a movement. Taylor, by turning it into a solution. The audience applauds. Joy waits for the noise to die down. But movements create sides. And sides create pressure. Taylor leans forward slightly. Pressure already existed. Artists just didn't have leverage. Alyssa jumps in. It's changed industry conversations. Joy nods. No doubt. But it's also changed how disagreement is handled. Taylor looks at her. How so? Joy. If someone says they don't like the re-recordings, or they think the originals are better, they're treated like heretics. The audience laughs nervously. Taylor smiles faintly. I don't expect universal agreement. Joy, your fandom does. Taylor's smile fades. I don't control that. Joy raises her eyebrows. We're back here again. The tension thickens. Whoopi watches closely. Taylor speaks carefully. Joy, I hear what you're saying. I really do. But I think there's a tendency to attribute collective behavior to the most visible individual. Joy crosses her arms. Because visibility comes with responsibility. Taylor nods. And I take that seriously. But responsibility doesn't mean omnipotence. The audience applauds again. Whoopi chuckles. That's a sat word. Laughter breaks some of the tension. Whoopi turns to Joy. Let me ask you this. Do you think Taylor should do more to rein in her fans? Joy doesn't hesitate. Yes. A few gasps from the crowd. Taylor looks at Whoopi. Can I respond? Whoopi gestures. Go ahead. Taylor, I've spoken out against harassment multiple times. I've asked people to be kind. Beyond that, I'm not comfortable policing emotion. Joy, but emotion becomes action. Taylor, so does silence. Joy smiles tightly. You're very good at this. Taylor meets her gaze. I'm very practiced at being misunderstood. The audience reacts strongly. Applause, a few cheers. Sunny looks impressed. Alyssa nods. Joy leans back, considering. Do you ever worry that the narrative always bends in your favor? Taylor thinks for a moment. No, I think it swings. Joy, but you land on your feet. Taylor, not always. Joy studies her. Name a time. The room goes quiet. Taylor's voice lowers slightly. There were years when my silence was read as guilt. When my speaking was read as manipulation. When no version of me was acceptable. A hush settles over the audience. Taylor continues. I didn't land on my feet. I learned how to stand back up. Applause builds slowly, then fills the studio. Joy doesn't interrupt. She listens. When the clapping fades, Joy nods once. That's fair. Whoopi looks between them. That feels like a real answer. Sunny adds softly. And an honest one. Joy exhales. I still think power needs questioning. Taylor nods. So do systems. Joy smiles faintly. Touché. The audience laughs lightly. Whoopi relaxes back into her chair. You know, this is why people watch this show. Different views, same table. Joy glances at Taylor. You're not as fragile as some people think. Taylor smiles slightly. I don't have the luxury to be. Joy chuckles. No kidding. There's a moment of mutual acknowledgement. Still tense, but no longer adversarial. Whoopi looks at the camera. When we come back, final thoughts, and we'll see where this conversation lands. The audience applauds as the camera pulls out. Taylor sipping water, Joy glancing at her notes, both clearly aware that the hardest part of the conversation may still be ahead. The show comes back for the final segment with a different energy than before. The applause is strong, but it's mixed with anticipation. People lean forward in their seats. Whoopi looks around the table, then at the camera. Whoopi, all right. Final thoughts. Taylor straightens slightly, hands resting calmly. Joy adjusts her glasses, her expression thoughtful rather than combative now. Whoopi turns to Joy first. Joy, you pushed hard today. Joy nods. That's my job. Whoopi, do you feel heard? Joy glances at Taylor before answering. Yes, and I think that matters. Taylor looks at Joy. I'm glad. The audience reacts softly, a few claps, a few murmurs. Whoopi turns to Taylor. Taylor, this wasn't a light interview. Taylor smiles faintly. I didn't expect it to be. Whoopi, anything you want to clear up before we wrap? Taylor takes a breath. I think disagreement is healthy. What I hope people take away is that challenging someone doesn't mean dismissing their humanity, and defending yourself doesn't mean shutting down conversation. The audience applauds, louder this time. Joy nods slowly. I can agree with that. Sunny smiles. That might be the quote of the day. Alyssa adds, social media's going to have a field day with this. The audience laughs knowingly. Joy looks back at Taylor. You know, I still don't agree with you on everything. Taylor smiles. I didn't expect you to. Joy smirks. Good. Laughter breaks out, easing the tension further. Whoopi chuckles. See, the world didn't end. Taylor laughs quietly, the first genuinely relaxed laugh of the segment. Whoopi turns serious again. Before we go, Taylor, you've talked a lot about responsibility today. If there's one thing you wish people understood about you beyond the headlines, what would it be? Taylor thinks carefully. That I'm still learning. I don't have all the answers. I just try to act with intention and own my mistakes when I make them. The audience applauds warmly. Joy looks at her, then nods once. That's fair. Whoopi smiles. All right. Taylor Swift, everybody. The applause swells, some audience members standing. Taylor gives a small wave, mouthing thank you. As the cameras begin to pull back, Whoopi leans slightly toward Joy, her mic still hot. Whoopi, you all right? Joy smiles. I'm fine. I like a guest who can spar. Taylor hears it and smiles again. Anytime. The audience laughs and applauds as the show fades out. After the taping ends, the studio buzz doesn't die down. Audience members chatter excitedly, phones already out. A few people can be heard saying, "That got real, and she handled that well." Others debate Joy's points as they file out, still energized by the exchange. Backstage, Taylor stops briefly to thank the crew. She exchanges a few words with Whoopi, a quick hug, then turns to Joy. There's a short pause, then a handshake. "Joy, you're tougher than you look." "Taylor, you're sharper than people admit." Joy smiles. Fair trade. Within minutes of the episode airing, clips flood social media. One moment trends immediately, Taylor calmly saying, "Responsibility doesn't mean omnipotence." Another shows Joy asking, "Careful or strategic?" with the audience gasping. Hashtags climb fast. Some praise Taylor's composure. Others applaud Joy for asking uncomfortable questions. Comment sections fill with debates, side-by-side clips, slowed-down reactions. Fans defend Taylor passionately. Critics argue that Joy raised necessary points. Media outlets run split headlines, some calling it a tense clash, others labeling it a rare, honest conversation. Late-night hosts reference it. Opinion columns pop up by evening. The next day, Joy addresses it briefly on air. "People can disagree without hating each other," she says. That's the point. Taylor, meanwhile, is asked about it at a later appearance. She smiles and says, "I respect tough questions." The moment doesn't explode into scandal, but it doesn't disappear either. It lingers as one of those talk show exchanges people keep referencing. Not because someone stormed off, but because no one did. And now it's your turn. What did you think of the exchange? Was Joy right to push, or did Taylor handle it perfectly? Share your opinion in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Talk Show Prime for more real talk show stories.